Changing the bearings is very easy. All your time will go into preparing the cases. These bearings are an interference fit. This means the outside diameter of the bearings is slightly bigger than the inside diameter of the bore. The only way you can remove and install these bearings is by changing their sizes. Interference fit means you will need to freeze your new bearings to contract them and heat the case halves in the oven to expand the bores. Do not try to remove and install these bearings with a torch or force. The uneven temperature will compromise the metal and force will break it. When done right, the bearings will practically remove and install themselves. Before you take your cases to the oven, make sure you have all the bearings you need. For this crankcase, I'm using a Hot Rods transmission bearing kit and OEM main bearings. Match your new bearings with the old ones. Keep the new ones separated by case side because you will install them one side at a time. The last thing to do before you bake your cases is to remove the screws and retainers in the left case and the bolts and retainers in the right case. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius if you're fancy. Place your case half on your blocks, bearing side down, and place it in the oven for about 10 minutes. The case wall is thicker at the crank, meaning it will take the longest to heat up, so that is where you want to measure your temperature. The ideal temperature to work at is 250 degrees Fahrenheit or 120 degrees Celsius if you're nasty. The most accurate way to measure the temperature is with a laser thermometer, but if you don't have one, flick some water on the case. If it sizzles and evaporates immediately, you should be good. Remove the case and tap the bearings. If they don't fall out with a few taps, return the case to the oven and wait another 5 minutes. After you remove the bearings, let the cases cool and clean the bearing bores with denatured alcohol. To install the new frozen bearings, reheat your case halves, then drop the bearings into place. If they don't sit flush or all the way, lightly tap them until they do. Repeat with the other half. After your cases cool down, install the retainers and screws on the left case and the retainers and bolts in the right case. While your crankcase is disassembled, consider changing the clutch lifter bearings. Removing these bearings can be a hassle because of their shape and placement. Normally, you can slide the bearings out with a pick, but I had to use a slide hammer for these. Install the bearings with the socket, then grease and install the new seal.